Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We are going to start in exactly 56 seconds. Seriously, think about it. I'll just Good morning and welcome. 56 seconds have passed. Good to see all of you, and welcome to Tennessee State University Faculty and Staff Institute. Fall 2021, we continue to make history in the long and important history of Tennessee State University since 1912 as an HBCU, land-grant, normal school in an urban environment, and we move forward. Thank you for those who are here, and we are delighted for those of you who are home and are watching with us. These past years have been interesting, to say the least, and Tennessee State University has proved itself to be resilient, forward-looking, and as the quote says, optimism is true moral courage. And in a few minutes, we will hear from President Glover, who has led us through these very, very challenging years, I would say, in many areas, to show an example to many others as a leading university, not only a leading HBCU. We're going to continue to move forward, being forward-looking, optimistic, doing things with immense passion and compassion, as the President always emphasizes the well-being of the students, faculty, and staff is her priority, right there with academic excellence and student success. And that's in fact what we have all focused on and will continue to focus on. There's a quote that says, and I've said it before, by Browning, that for sudden the worst makes the best to the brave. Each and every one here has proved that that is the case at Tennessee State University. We have the capacity and the ability to continue on this path and continue to excel. Yes, there's been a lot of challenges, and the President will talk about them, but I think if I look back on this past year and beyond the years that I've been here, we've always prevailed. We've always moved forward. The reason we did so is because of each and every one of you who's sitting here in the room today. Thank you for making the effort to come here, and for those of you at home who has given it all. Remember, it is not one individual that makes the difference. It is us coming together as a team, as an organization, as an institution that allows us to make such a big difference and to move forward with so much success. So welcome to this exciting moment. Besides graduation, this is the most exciting moment. It's also a time of changing seasons, although we all know that in Nashville, on August 9th, no season really changes. We'll have to wait for December. Saying that, again, welcome. I also want to point out to two important administrative notices that the Chief of Staff, Dr. Johnson, asked me to emphasize. Right there will be a representative from the bookstore. If anyone wants to talk to them, they will be sitting over there. Also, on that side, there's food and lunch for those who are here, and those who are home and still want to have some food and lunch, hurry up, bring a mask, register, and walk right in, take your temperature, and you're welcome. Saying that, I will begin by introducing the president of the Faculty Senate, the chair of the Faculty Senate, Dr. Kimberly Triplett. Dr. Triplett, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Good morning, faculty, staff, alumni, and TSU family. It is a great honor that I greet you all this morning. And my name again is Kimberly Triplett, Associate Professor from the College of Public Service. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment of silence for the colleagues we lost last year and this year due to the global coronavirus pandemic. Thank you. Across the university, I know that we continue to face many uncertainties, but I'm hopeful that we will continue to come together and remain steadfast as a collective body to continue moving this university forward. As Faculty Senate Chair, I am renewing my commitment once again to do my part in making TSU the best it can be, not only for its current students, faculty, and staff, but also the generations of TSU family members to come. We can only do this together. Although we are still under challenging times due to the global coronavirus pandemic, we are moving forward, providing one of the greatest services of all, and that is to educate the minds of students who will continue to impact change. We will be able to do this safely, strategically, this academic school year. Faculty, I would like to applaud you for showing time and time again that we can educate our students at a higher level by being innovative in our course delivery without jeopardizing the integrity of our academic programs or our institution. I welcome our new faculty to TSU and our adjuncts. If the Faculty Senate can be of any assistance for you or to you, then please let us know. Again, welcome. I would like to highlight just a few things faculty at TSU were able to accomplish this last semester and into the new academic school year in the midst of the pandemic that shows our resiliency. TSU faculty are just teaching, educating, conducting research, workshops, publishing, and books, and etc. We have a Fulbright scholar, Dr. John Miglietta, Professor of Political Science from the College of Liberal Arts, will be doing a 9-month teaching Fulbright in Takistan, starting this academic school year. His host institution is the University of Central Asia in Karachi, Takistan. 2021-2022 non-institutional grant awardees. The non-institutional assignment policy is to relieve faculty members from their instructional workload for a semester or entire academic year in order to pursue research, publication, or creative activity opportunities. This academic school year, we have 4 awardees. Dr. Gong Bhatt from the College of Life and Physical Sciences, Dr. Xiaoming Li from the College of Business, Dr. John Miglietta from the College of Liberal Arts, and Dr. Janice Williams from the College of Health Sciences. So congratulations to our NIA grant awardees. Faculty continue to serve from an innovative approach for campus and community activities for professional development, brown bag series, and luncheons and presentations. TSU Faculty Research Awards. As we all know, despite the financial hardship caused by the coronavirus pandemic, faculty are continuing to receive research funding. Faculty attracted more than $70 million in sponsored research and external funding during the 2020-2021 fiscal year, a new school record, and I know the President will highlight those. This marks the 3rd consecutive year the university has exceeded $50 million in annual sponsored research funding. TSU ranks among the top historical Black colleges and universities in the nation in attracting research funding. You should all be proud of keeping with our motto, think, work, serve. Of the 160 grant awards totaling over $70 million, 21 awards were over $500,000. Faculty and staff are also submitted committed and submitted the highest number of proposals in the university history for a single year. Of the 221 grant proposals submitted to the various funding agencies, over 178 million, a record of 160 were awarded for funding. We also have exciting work being accomplished in our curriculum committee. Curriculum changes, including CARFs and PARFs for undergraduate programs, are being added to the catalog and will function in the same way that the graduate processes are currently doing. Stay tuned for training dates in the near future from Dr. Karen Smith, who is the curriculum chair. And if you also need any assistance before training is completed, you can contact Dr. Karen Smith, the Faculty Senate Curriculum Chair. Take a moment to just congratulate yourself, faculty, for a job well done. I'm anticipating a greater, better 2021-2022 academic year. Upcoming events for faculty, so please save your dates. Virtual full faculty forum will take place this Friday, August 13th at 10 a.m. More information has been submitted, and you will receive more information this week. Our first Faculty Senate meeting of the academic school year will take place virtually Thursday, August 26th at 2:40 p.m. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, concerns. You can also go to our website to submit your confidential concerns or issues or grievances. Also, feel free to reach out to faculty senators who represent your area. We are eager to listen, willing to help, ready to serve, and we stand firm in our collective commitment to be the champions for faculty causes. In conclusion, as we embark on this academic school year, during these extraordinary challenging times, the faculty, staff, administrators, alumni, students, and friends of TSU must continue to work together in order to move this great institution towards higher ground. We as faculty can and shall progress in the educating of our students and preparing them for careers in a changing society so they can go out and apply what they have learned and gained at TSU, and to hold fast to our motto, think, work, serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Triplett, and of course, to all the faculty. Profound gratitude and appreciation. It's well known that people support what they help to build, and the faculty are at the core of what we build, as are the staff. Talking about the staff, it's truly a pleasure and an honor for me to invite Martell Claiborne, the chair of the Staff Senate, who will share with us a few words, talk about staff and service. He does that at IT, at the desk, and we could have not had a better representative. Martell Claiborne, it's all yours.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Harris. Appreciate that. I'll be brief. As I look at my laptop, I see that, as you know, with the Office of Technology Services, Communication, we have a few individuals that's needing assistance logging on to this meeting, so I'll be very, very brief. Welcome. Welcome to Madam President. Welcome to administration and her cabinet, as well as the faculty staff body as a whole. My name is Martell Claiborne, again with the Office of Technology and Communication Services, and I'm here and I stand before you as your Staff Senate Chair for this academic year, and I'm humbled to serve as that position. We serve not only as the voice, the passion, the determination for this Tennessee State University community as a whole. I welcome your new ideas, your processes, your objectives to not only lead our future leaders into the next generation, but also fine-tune and polish each other's skills together. We actually have to climb together and build as we do so. I will need each and every one of you, your assistance and help throughout this academic year, and your continued focus, again, to help guide our future leaders. I'll leave you with my final quote and favorite of all. Excellence will be tolerated but perfection will be yielded. Thank you.
Thank you. Please join me again in thanking Martel Claiborne for his wisdom and excellent words. We appreciate that, brief but certainly to the point, and we thank him as we thank each and all staff on this campus that work day and night to assure our student success. So thank you from all of us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you our president. We have gone through challenging times, we've all mentioned it. An organization can only go through challenging times and be successful no matter what the industry is, no matter where it's located, if they have a great leader, who leader has a vision, is forward-looking, is optimistic, believes, cares, and is not fearful to lead to where we need to go, and in fact knows where we're going to, and make sure that we all get there together and safe. We could have never had a better leader to lead us through these times and do it with national, state, and local success. We are blessed to have Dr. Glenda Glover as our president. Please join me in welcoming her and through that thanking her for an amazing job that will be written in the history of this institution.
Wipe the mic off for me. Get the wipe. Yeah, I'm gonna wipe it off. Bear with us. Me? Thank you, Provost Harris. Good morning to each of you. It's a pleasure to welcome you back to TSU as we begin this new academic year, this new semester at TSU. To the faculty, the staff, the administrators, the alumni, to the TSU Board of Trustees, to the TSU Foundation, and any special guests who are present. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your presence. Dr. Trippett, thank you for that moment of silence. It was in my notes. But for those, this moment of silence, as we honor those who we unfortunately have to report 2 of our members passed away over the last 18 months, and 47 were sickened due to COVID. So thank you for that moment of silence as we honor them and acknowledge them. Ordinarily, I would say to you, we began this semester with excitement and enthusiasm. And today I want to just say we began with relative uncertainty because of where we are with this COVID, but with hope as we work together through this challenging environment, this unparalleled challenge, and this unprecedented crisis of our time. So I start by commending you, by telling you how much I appreciate, how much we appreciate the way you have responded to this crisis. Thank you for making the adjustments in your personal lives to meet the needs of our students. Thank you for that. This is a historic year in the life of TSU. We're walking in the middle of a historic moment, and we must consider this a privilege because it's our responsibility to serve our institution, to serve our students in this moment. And yes, we're facing external challenges like never before. We're struggling to recover from this pandemic that underscored some of our painful challenges it brought to the surface. This pandemic pulled the cover off the disparities in health care, the subtle and sometimes not so subtle racism and other inequities in our system. But if ever there was a time, if ever there was a university that could play such a leadership role and seize this moment and not waste this crisis, that university is Tennessee State University. Yes, there are some difficulties that we have encountered, but history will judge how we came together and did all we could to secure a strong future for our students and for our university. So again, I say thank you, and I remain grateful to you for your hard work, for your dedication, for your devotion. I often tell you it's a wonderful privilege and honor and an awesome responsibility to serve as president of TSU, a position that I have never taken for granted. And I thank you for your support, your unwavering support, your unselfish service. Despite this pandemic, we continue to move forward. We've covered a lot of territory. We have a lot more to pursue. We will continue to do it together as one TSU in that spirit of working together as a cohesive unit, again as one TSU. And I hope that, like me, you're excited about what's ahead for us. We have a lot to cover today, but before we go any further, I want to make a few introductions. I want to introduce our senior management, the presidents and cabinet deans, and then our associate vice presidents and others who make up this leadership and work so hard daily to get this job done. First, I go to the cabinet members. If you're here, please stand. If you're doing virtually, we still acknowledge you in our virtual space. So Dr. Michael Harris, interim provost and our vice president of academic affairs. Mr. Douglas Allen, our vice president for business and finance. Mr. Frank Stevenson, our chief student affairs officer and associate vice president for student affairs. Mr. Terex Isens, associate vice president for admissions and recruitment. Dr. Curtis Johnson, chief of staff and associate vice president. Dr. Francis Williams, chief research officer and associate vice president for research and sponsored programs. Attorney Lawrence Pendleton, general counsel and secretary to the board of trustees. Ms. Kelly Sharp, assistant vice president for public relations and communications. Mr. Jamie Isabel, who heads our institutional advancement unit. Chief Gregory Robinson, assistant vice president and chief of police. Dr. Michael Allen, who's an athletic director. So I want to call our athletic deans our academic deans now. So let's start with Dr. Chandra Reddy, who's Dean of the College of Agriculture. Dr. Milton Lowndes Jackson, Dean of the College of Business. Dr. Jerry Haynes, Dean of the College of Education. Dr. Keith Hargrove, Dean of the College of Engineering. Dr. Ron Barreto, Dean of the College of Health Sciences. Dr. Samantha Morgan Curtis, Interim Dean of the College of Liberal Arts. Dr. Nolan McMurray, who is Interim Dean of the College of Life and Physical Sciences, and Dr. Elizabeth Williams, who is Interim Dean of the College of Public Service. Thank you to our deans. And our Associate and Assistant Vice Presidents, Dr. Robert Melton, Associate Vice President of Smart Technology Innovation Center, Dr. Evelyn Nettles, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, Ms. Linda Spears, Associate Vice President for Human Resources, Mr. Bradley White, Associate Vice President for Business and Finance, Dr. Carolyn Davis, Assistant Vice President for Student Administrative Support, Dr. William Hike, Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Cheryl C.A., Assistant Vice President for Global Online Education and Academic Technology, Ms. Amy Wood, Assistant Vice President for Financial Aid, Dr. Clara Young, Assistant Vice President for Academic Affairs, Mr. Jay Turner as Controller. So thank you very much. And now I recognize our Faculty Senate Chair, Dr. Kimberly Triplett, and our Staff Senate Chair, Mr. Martell Claiborne, who you heard from both of them this morning. Thank you. And I'd like to ask to stand as we recognize our Faculty Trustee, Dr. Bill Johnson. Thank you very much. So without calling all the names, I want to acknowledge our department chairs. Please give them a round of applause. Our directors and deans of non-academic units, the Administrative Council, and I ask you to give them a round of applause. Now I'd like to acknowledge all of our new faculty and staff. If anybody's present, will you stand? If not, we acknowledge you in virtual land. Thank you very much. New faculty and staff, thank you. We have some present with us in person. Thank you. I'm also pleased to extend a special thank you to our support areas. You who handled our day-to-day operations and kept us going throughout this pandemic. The frontline workers, our frontline workers, facilities, police, custodians, healthcare, student affairs, food services, residential hall staff, central receiving, academics. We honor you. We thank you for what you did and continue to do as we go through what we hope to be the last semester of this pandemic. Did I call Dr. Corrine Johnson, Honors College? Dr. Corrine Johnson, Dean of Honors College, please stand. And Ms. Linda Alvin, Executive Director of Libraries and Media Centers. What did I say? I have Corrine Jackson. Oh, I said Johnson. Sorry about that. Dr. Corrine Jackson, since I call your name wrong, would you stand again? Thank you. All right. So thank you for all that you've done. We're in some unusual times. We didn't create it. We didn't cause it. It's not our fault, but it is our circumstance. So we must succeed through it anyway. So right now, we must concentrate on our safety. We're concentrating on your safety. We're concentrating on the safety of faculty and the staff. We're concentrating on the safety of our students. We have some built-in safeguards to ensure your safety. Some things are inconvenient. Some things are repetitive. But the objective is to live through this crisis. We're here to serve you, to serve TSU. And we'll do all in our power to continue to manage our way through this. And we will emerge a much stronger institution. So having said that, let's now go to our charts. So we have an agenda that is not too different from what we've done in the past. So we're going to go through the operations, the health, et cetera, the protocols, and the recruitment, enrollment, the CARES Act, the grants and funding, athletics, public relations, then we'll talk about land grant. Let's start with the pandemic. So our university will be open this fall for in-person operations. Classes will begin in person, and some will also be online. Last year we had a 14-day online totally, and a 14-day safer at home policy. We're not implementing those two this year. We're just going to start with our online. We're asking the faculty and staff, especially the faculty, to do what you can to address the student needs. Some classes will be online, some will be in person. We're asking students to return in person, so we ask faculty to return in person also. But we're closely monitoring COVID-19 and the Delta variant and all other these emerging variants that may be coming up. So faculty, we ask you to please be prepared to change to online operations if we have to. If the pandemic conditions dictate that, we want to make sure that we're prepared to go to online operations if we need. Like we did last year over weekend notice, we did it well, so we've got an experience in it. But just be prepared to go through it. And we ask the faculty to have both in-person and online office hours to minimize the added in-person interaction. So we're asking that of you. Classes start August 16th, and we're going to follow the same pattern we had last year with ending in end of November, that Saturday after Thanksgiving. The residence halls will be open to students. We're expecting full capacity in the residence halls. In fact, we have gone to view off-site locations that are close to the campus and for the overflow of students, which is a good problem to have, and we have that problem this year. Students will be required to wear masks in the residence halls. Students will be required to wear masks in the classrooms. We have some developments that we're doing for students who choose not to wear masks. We're not going to make an issue out of it. We're just going to work with student affairs to get things done for students who don't want to wear masks. We don't think that'll be a large number of students, but we want the faculty to be comfortable as you teach your classes. We want students to be comfortable as they learn. We encourage you to wash your hands thoroughly throughout the day, frequently throughout the day. Then we have telecounseling services going to be open 24/7. So if any student or faculty, if you need counseling, we're making sure that's available to you. And of course, we're going to continue testing, regularly and routinely testing. Health protocols continue. The face coverings, we're required to be worn at all times. Face covering can be a mask, or it could be the face covering that we've seen and we wear regularly. They're being distributed still. If you don't have one, they're plentiful on campus to the students, faculty, and staff. We have masks available for you. We're still implementing social distancing as evidenced by how we are set up today. We literally walked it off to make sure we met the social distancing guidelines for each chair that's here today. Now, temperature checks we're conducting on an as-needed basis throughout the campus. And then the hand sanitizing stations are still located on campus. Going the wrong way. Vaccinations. We are strongly stressing vaccinations for all employees and all students. We're making a concerted effort to get students vaccinated. Because of the regulatory, our rules and regulations in place, we are not mandating that students be vaccinated. But we are strongly suggesting it, and we're asking. We're asking our faculty, we're strongly recommending our faculty be vaccinated and that our students be vaccinated. To facilitate the vaccination process, our plan is to go to the residence halls to vaccinate students. We know that we want to make it as easy as possible for students to become vaccinated. So we plan to go to the residence halls and set up locations on campus so students can be vaccinated. For students living on campus, vaccination will be available during move-in. We have that set up. Dean Frank Stevens has worked that out so they can be vaccinated during move-in. We will have on-campus vaccinations each day for the first 4 weeks of school, starting today. And today also, faculty can get vaccinated on campus. We spoke with them today. They're here now, ready to vaccinate any faculty member who wants to become vaccinated. You can do it today. Facilities manager needs you to work on the lights. The lights keep going in and out. So we're in the process right now of determining what percent of faculty have been vaccinated. And staff. We're not sure yet. We have some numbers we're working through now to get that for you so we can know that as it helps us in our planning. For some incentives for vaccinations. Yes, we want everybody vaccinated, but we go beyond just one to be vaccinated. For students, as we mentioned last week, each student who can show us proof that they've been vaccinated, they're fully vaccinated, we give them a $100 gift card. We want you to be vaccinated just that bad that we're going to make a gift card available to any student who can show they've been vaccinated. And if a student lives in the residence halls, there's an addition of $50, a gift card, to give to the student who lives on campus. So that's a total of $150 that students for vaccination. Vaccination is just as important to us. We know vaccination saves lives. We're trying to encourage you and incent you to get vaccinated. Now for employees, we're offering the same $100 gift card for employees who show proof of vaccination. I'm going to let Stan, Mr. Allen, because I want to start right now. I've been vaccinated. I have my card. Did you bring my $100 gift card? All right. So immediately after this is over, I'd like to show you, present my credentials so I can give my first. I lead by example. As a matter of fact, let me hand it to you right now. Here's my vaccination card. Look it over. And I would like to get, so I'll meet you at the end of this. Okay. Put it right there. Thank you very much. Little humor. So, employees, faculty, staff, administrators, just show that you've been vaccinated. And the $100 gift card, we have it ready for you. Now, let's transition to our SAC COC update. And I start by thanking the team, our TSU team, our provost, Dr. Michael Harris, our director of accreditation, Dr. Charlize Anderson, and the team, each of you, for doing such a wonderful job with SACs to get us through that process. So March 16 through 18, SAC COC came to campus. We had our on-site visit. It was conducted virtually. Well, they didn't come to campus in person. We did it virtually due to this COVID-19 virus. We were found compliant with 72 of the 74 standards. The two standards that relate to the audits, 13.2 and 13.4, we could not be considered compliant because the audit for those 2 years had not been completed. So that's one of the standards. You must produce an audit. So as soon as the audit is completed, and one is completed now, it will be submitted to SAC COC to the team as required. SAC procedure requires to submit a follow-up report within a 5-month period. So we're working to get that into them by this approaching deadline. I told you before that there were 83 programs under review, the 1 associate's program, 39 bachelor's programs, 24 master's, 8 doctorate programs. There were 11 professional programs, certificates and certificated programs that were under review. And this just shows it by college that we had the ones in agriculture, we had 6, in business we had 5, in education there were 13 programs, in engineering we had 10 programs, in liberal arts we had the health sciences 17, liberal arts 14, life and physical sciences we had 7, and public service 11, and that's a total of 83 programs. Something's going wrong. Okay. So that's the SACS programs, and we're getting a report to them as required. So let's move now to our audit update. You know, I told you before we had some audit issues, and we're doing some corrective measures to make sure that we can get out of audit trouble and stay out of audit trouble for life. So we have corrected all the deficiencies that were noted in the audit reports. I got to repeat that. We corrected all the deficiencies thanks to the team, to the accounting team, the finance team, to our new Vice President of Finance, Mr. Allen, to our outgoing Vice President of Finance. We thank him. We thank our provost for his leadership through this. So we thank them for what has taken place in our finance department, and we thank our controller, Jay Turney, who has done so well with this. The most significant deficiency was the failure to complete the financial statements, and the bank transactions in a timely manner. So that's the part we have to get caught up on that. We've gotten all those caught up now, and we've updated our financial processes, and we've implemented proper training of the employees for both the university and the foundation. So there are two entities that we have to make sure we have everything done properly for, both the university and for the foundation. So we made some staffing and organizational changes as we enhance this infrastructure of ours. The financial infrastructure required us to make some changes. Some took buyouts, some left on their, and some we had conversations with, but right now we have made some staff and organizational changes. And so some new personnel. You just met our Vice President of Business and Finance. We had a controller for TSU Accounting Department, controller for the foundation. And we have some more positions, director positions, other accounting positions, other financial positions to make sure we can stay out of trouble. So that was good news. Let's move now to recruiting and enrollment. To date, first-year enrollment is up for both the graduate and undergraduate programs. Mr. Izzard monitors those numbers like no one else. He can tell me, I called him, I think about 12:30 last night, this morning, to find out, I want to make an accurate statement. Are we still ahead? He said, yes, we're definitely ahead of last year. I said, good. So we're okay. So of course, we don't know how enrollment's going to look until everybody registers and pays their money. That's when we get our accurate count, as we know. But as of right now, we're trending ahead of last year. The number of returning students is similar to last year. We're contacting those students, trying to make sure they return to TSU this fall. As you know, last year, because of the pandemic, many students did not return in the fall. They went online, but some took a gap year. And no matter how hard we tried to tell them that the gap year was not to their advantage, some still took their gap year. So those are some of the students we're going after now to make sure they will come back to TSU and finish their education. And then we're projecting enrollment to be up slightly this year. And I want to make one more point. I put this in and took it back out and put it back in. We know that everybody is responsible for recruitment and enrollment. We want to recruit students, want to retain students, want to talk to students, to tell them to, you may have a challenge now, but we're here to assist you. Please don't do we've gotten less of this in the last few months, but it's painful for students to come to me and tell me, I talked to my advisor, or I talked to a faculty member, and that person told me to leave TSU. You don't want to be here. So that is a way to be summarily dismissed. We do not need anyone who works at TSU to be telling students to leave TSU. That's just not your role. That's crossing the line. That is a job that you cannot do. So that's grounds for a dismissal. When you're doing things contrary to Tennessee State University, you don't belong here. I expect you to clap on that one. We have some more recruitment strategies, what we've done to get enrollment up. We have strategically realigned admissions and recruitment just to better serve our prospective students. We've enhanced our digital recruitment. We have Mr. Izzard working with public relations with Ms. Sharp and some other with the student leaders. They've done an amazing job in getting videos done and doing things to help enhance our digital recruitment. We realigned application processes. We've automated our webpage. We've automated transcript submission. The transcript submission is not perfect yet, but it's getting there, that automation process. We've enhanced our virtual visits. We've had so many visits with students who come into campus. Then we have some others who are coming in person. So we're enjoying the fact that we're doing visits again within the guidelines, the COVID guidelines. We've increased our events, our live events for the students and the parents. We have a lot of parental focus right now, so that because parents help students decide on the universities. So we've increased the number of scholarships available to the students, both the first-year students and our returning students. We've increased the scholarships we have available. And we've concentrated a lot more on our in-state students and our 250-mile radius students. That's been a major concentration of ours because the affordability kicks in. We've expanded the pool with the Common Black application, Common Black college application. We have partnered with them again, so we're continuing that process. And then the intent to enroll form helps us to better project the students who are coming here. They sign intent to enroll forms indicating they will be at TSU this fall. And so that helps us to better gauge this. Then now we provided new laptops and iPads for incoming students and for other students determined by need. Last year we gave them to first-year students. This year we're repeating that process. The first-year students will get laptops or iPads. Some already bring them, but they don't. We make sure you have an iPad or a laptop. Let's go back to now recruitment. The major markers, we're concentrating a lot on first-year students. Then we returning students. We have phone banks of faculty, staff, deans calling students. Want to know, where are you? You have not registered. Want you to come back to TSU. The graduate school, they were doing a phenomenal job at the graduate school and just talking to alumni and others to come back to graduate school. Community colleges, we have the dual enrollment initiative, adult learning, non-traditional students, and veterans. So we have some markers that we're pursuing to make sure that we can keep our recruitment efforts going. Then these are community colleges. We're part of a lot of the community colleges, especially the ones right around Nashville, and then those throughout the state of Tennessee. Then we have some others that are outside of the state of Tennessee with which we have partnered. Now, let's talk about the initiative to pay off student balances. The CARES Act funding allowed us to pay off the student balances that were related to COVID. So we're paying off the prior student balances for returning students this fall. We made that announcement, I think about 100 students registered that same day we made the announcement, because the balances were just overwhelming to them. And a $2,000 balance may seem like something small, but to our population, it's major. So we were happy that we could provide some assistance to the students to pay off those prior balances. And again, the funding comes from the CARES Act. Okay, another thing, let's move now to our new facilities on campus. The new health science building. How many of you attended that grand opening? It was amazing. It was the community, the alumni, some of the TSU Foundation members were present. The building, I have to applaud our facilities management department. I have to applaud Dr. Curtis Johnson for spearheading this. It is just amazing. We love that new building. And then we have 2 new residence halls scheduled to open next fall. I understand they'll be completed before then, but we're going to still say next fall. And if it happens before then, we're just happy. But so the health science building, 2 new residence halls that are scheduled to open this time next year. So that's a new facility we plan to open on campus. All right, I mentioned the CARES Act a couple of times. Let's go through. We've been really good stewards of our CARES Act funding. The CARES Act stands for the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, Economic Security, the CARES Act. So it just responds to what's been the impact on college campuses, what's been the impact as a whole in the country. So initially, $14 billion in emergency funding was made available. And then the CARES Act appropriated an additional $1 billion for HBCUs and minority service institutions to be used for expenses associated with COVID-19. So here's what happened. The first we had TSU received $7.2 million in the CARES Act funding, and then an additional $16.2 million in the HBCU provision of the CARES Act funding. So students got funding in their hands. Some went to their accounts, and some went to student needs. Our population is not always about the accounts, your student account. It's about your living. If your family living in a trailer, you need cash in your hand. It's not so much your account, it's in your hand. So if CARES Act funding allowed for students to receive that type of aid. Then in round 2, $21.2 billion was allocated to higher education institutions. TSU received $3.6 million for student aid and then $9.7 million for institutional use. And so then $20.2 million for HBCU funding. Then the third round of applause, the third round of funding, $36 billion under the American Rescue Plan, called ARP, $11.7 million for student aid, and $11.6 million for institutional use. All has to be related to emergency use related to COVID-19. Not just funds in your hand to do what you wanted to do with it. It's related, it has to be related to COVID. And so then $3 billion has been allocated totally, and some more funds are forthcoming. That's just a schedule of everything. It's hard to read, but you can see the amount of funding that's been available and the source of it. So I want to repeat that all universities receive funding, both private universities and public universities. Majority universities, non-majority. Colleges all receive funding. Then there was a special funding available for HBCUs. So it wasn't just HBCU funding. Someone stopped me and said that we get all this money for HBCUs. But, you know, it's almost like saying HBCUs have been so underfunded, and is saying, in the past and currently. And so now this is a way of trying to assist HBCUs and not going under during this COVID crisis. So that's the CARES Act funding. So that's how we're able to pay off student balances, and we're able to assist with vaccinations in that initiative. All right. Let's move now to facilities and maintenance. And we mentioned that we have some new facilities coming on campus, but we have some we have to maintain the ones we have. They stepped it up a lot. And we said you have to sell cleanliness of the campus. You have to show the beautification process of our campus. So we made several repairs across the campus. We made sure we had the perimeter road improvement repairs. We did various lighting upgrades, cut down some of the trees so the safety measures would be in place. The painting, just to make it look good, the grounds maintenance. We brought in a great firm, Dwight Beard. I can't think of the name of his firm. Tell me somebody. Okay, Beard, who is just an expert in grounds and upkeep and beautification. And so that's paying off, because when the students come here, they love how the campus looks. And that's how we get quite a few students. When they come here, they're so impressed, they want to stay at TSU and be a student at TSU. So Facilities management, we thank you for what y'all have done. Now let me move to new academic programs. We have a few this year. We have a Bachelor of Arts in Art Design, the concentrations in College of Liberal Arts. In the College of Public Service, we have a PhD in Public Policy and Administration. In the College of Education, we have a graduate certificate in Education Technology. College of Health Sciences, a graduate certificate in Nursing Education that's been reactivated. The College of Life and Physical Sciences, a graduate certificate in Biochemistry. And the College of Public Service, again, graduate certificate, Local Government Management. So these new programs have been approved, and we're running with them. Now, academic esports, I mean, that's really taken off. Someone called me, was asking me about esports, so I had to refer him to Dr. Robbie Melton, who was the expert in that. So this esports, some HBCUs are doing it, but we're moving forward with it, and we're getting a great reputation for having esports. The OER, Open Education Resources, another phenomenal enhancement for TSU. We're offering a National Center on campus. The center is funded by the Hewlett Foundation. You know, OER reduces the cost of textbooks. We're happy to have that. Let me congratulate the faculty who were promoted or got tenure. Hope you can see those names, so I wanted to try to read them all to you. Well, let's just give you 3 seconds on each one to look at the ones who the faculty got promoted and tenure. Let's give them a round of applause. So congratulations to all the faculty who got promoted and all those who got tenure. Okay, salary increases. We made a decision. It was a decision that we kind of got some pushback for, but we were able to talk to the board of directors and sell the board of directors. And we appreciate the board believing in us and allowing us to move forward with the salary increase for faculty and staff. So we got a 4.04 salary increase effective July 1. And this is the part that took some skills. And that is the fact we wanted to give you a bonus. Well, we can't use the word bonus, a supplemental payment. Because of the way you operated during this pandemic was worth something to me personally. The way you kept it going, nobody was complaining. I mean, a few may have, but overall, there were complaints. It was so smiley, you were happy, and you just helped. So that was worth something. So we said we'll give a 1% bonus of your salary. And if your salary was less than $50,000 a year, you would get 1%. But you had to have $500. That was the floor. We said nobody's going to get less than $500. And then 1%. So we thought that was a great way to show how much we appreciated how hard you worked during this crisis. So the 4.04% plus the supplemental payment. Now this is something new we want to look at, the information technology. I know that you've been out away from the campus for a year and a half. And in so doing, the office technology just may be outdated by now. So, not being here. So we're doing some major upgrades of technology by replacing. We want to go around first with the faculty. Faculty, we want to replace the desktops you have with the latest laptops, the MacBooks with docking sticks, etc., across the campus. For those who didn't get one last year, we did. Anyone who needed a laptop last year, we did. But we have, for those who didn't get that last year, then we want to make sure we do it this year so that you won't have outdated technology resulting from being gone for a year and a half away from the campus. You didn't leave from work, but you left from the campus. And so we don't want you to have a dinosaur sitting in your office. And so we want to make sure that we're directing the IT to work with you, finance to work with you to get the new equipment on your campus. So Division of Finance, Department of IT will be contacting the faculty first, and then key administrators and staff to arrange for new technology. We're making sure all faculty, key administrators, and staff. So we come to, so stay with me, we're getting there. The grants and research. We got to first take our hats off to the faculty and staff for the work you have done to get up to $70 million in grant and research funding. Stand up again, Dr. Francis Williams. Just take another and wave to this crowd because we thank you for what you've done. With over 160 awards, this is the highest we've ever done. So we went back 50 million, 51 million, and then to 70.7 million. So that's 19 million we've increased over the last few years. That is phenomenal. So we did this in the pandemic. So one faculty member said to me, that's what we get. We can work from home and not be bothered by So, but we want to say thank you for that. So TSU is the top HBCU in getting NIFA funding. Dr. Reddy, thank you. Stand up again for us. Agriculture, thank you. We're the top HBCU. We outdid our competitors, our normal competitors, A&T and the others, and FAMU. We outdid them in getting the NIFA funding at USDA. And then we rank among the top 5 annually, top 5 HBCUs in receiving research funding. This year we may be number 1. If we're not number 1, I think we're number 1 for this year. If not, we're number 2. Let's move on to our endowment. Our endowment has grown. I looked at my starting point is the first year we could measure when I got here, 42.9 million to 91 million. That's the value of our endowment now. If you can see the chart looks good, doesn't it? So we've increased $48 million. We've more than doubled our endowment because we get our endowment through a number of ways. So I analyzed it for us. From last year, July 1, we had 68.4 million. We had new gifts of 7.1 million. Stand up again, Mr. Jamie Isabel. let people know how hard we're working trying to get these funds brought in. Thank you. And then we had some market appreciation of 12.7. Meaning we're investing wisely. So we give thanks to our finance area. We give thanks to our TSU Foundation because they're responsible for investing the funds. And then we have some miscellaneous income. That we thank you for what you've done as far as getting more money to TSU. Like we said, we all recruit. We all raise money. We don't have to always ask for funding, but just by being there and they see the good works. That's what makes us bring in more money. People can believe in us, have confidence in us. So our endowment has increased. We're trying to hit a certain number soon. So we're trying to get that number now. All right. So I want to compare the endowments of the LGI, the local government institutions, the other 5 public institutions in our setting. The University of Memphis, you can see, is the highest at 216. East Tennessee State University, the highest at 132. MTSU next at 130. Then TSU is at 91. We're higher than Tech at 86, and Austin P at 47. So we look at where we are with the others. So we're right in that middle. We want to get higher, but Memphis numbers last year. We couldn't get the number of Memphis for this year, but we do have all the others as of June 30th. All right. So, and then the endowment per student. I thought that was important for you to see. The endowment per student, TSU is the highest in the endowment per student. That's how we give scholarships. Endowments represent sustainability. So when people tell you TSU getting ready to close, not with a $90 million endowment, we're not getting ready to close. And if we see the endowment per student is $14 million, 14.7, the highest among the 6 universities. That's a good story for us to tell. And then we look at the summary of our reserves and our endowment. Again, the starting point was 2014. So 2021, our total endowment and reserves. Total endowment was has grown by $48.1 million. The reserves, we have declined $18.8 million for the last 10 years. We kept it steady over the last 3 years, pretty much steady, because we're not really dipping into it. We did go into reserves, but we're not, because it's reserved for emergency purposes. We had some emergencies. But if it's non-emergency, we try not to go into reserve. In fact, the board has directed us not to go into reserves, to manage somehow from the day-to-day operations to do reserve, not to do reserve. So, but if you got $29.3 million to work with in reserves and endowment, that's strong for our financial position. So again, we're expecting Mr. Allen to keep that up over the next year, 2, 3 years. Corporate giving is up. The corporate foundation, donors, we just listed these that gave us $1 million or more last year. Apple increased theirs last year, FedEx $1 million, Robert Covington Foundation $1 million, Bank of America $1 million, over $1 million. So we're saying those are the ones. In fact, I got a call from FedEx. You know, we have friends at each one of these organizations. And my good friend at FedEx gave me a call in the middle of the Super Bowl. And I saw the number, and I'm saying, who could be calling me in the middle of the Super Bowl? So she said, President Glover, can you talk for a moment? And I said, well, actually, it's a bad time. She said, what are you doing? I said, I'm really watching the game. She said, oh, your team was losing anyway. So she was right. So I said, well, what is it? Can you hear me through it? And she said, well, this is good news. I have $1 million for you. I told my husband, turn the TV off. So she said, you had asked for $5 million, but we're not going to do $5 million to TSU. We're going to do $1 million to 4 schools, and TSU's one of the 4. And I said, well, that's only $4 million. What about the other one? And she said, well, we're still working through some more things, but right now it's $1 million. So I was very happy to get that phone call. And I immediately called Mr. Isabel and stopped him from watching Super Bowl and said, we got $1 million on the line. Can you stop for a moment and we have a 3-way conversation? So that's how we did that one. For Apple, same thing. So I'll just say Apple, just relationships that we have. I have just made a point to contact people that we know who are in the giving departments of these companies and ask, what can you do to partner with TSU? Can you become more engaged with us? And the Robert Covington Foundation, that was done through the athletics department, but we appreciate them being able to get Mr. Covington to make that kind of contribution to TSU. That's over $1 million. The Bank of America was another one that we just had contact, and we called and talked to them. We've been cultivating that relationship for almost a year. Then we got the phone call and said, okay, we're ready to pull the trigger. Then we had some others who gave big contributions that were not $1 million, but we have 2 or 3 regions not up there, but we have regions that gave 6 figures. They gave us $250, and we got another one $250. Diego Company, they just formed a partnership with TSU. We've been talking to them for a while. I think it wasn't $1 million, but we didn't give them a number yet. And they came back and said they're going to give us $500,000. So I said, that's good. we were happy about that. And then we got another 6-figure gift from Bill Freeman. Trustee Bill Freeman, former trustee Bill Freeman. Because even though he's no longer on the board of trustees, he's still supporting TSU. He supported before he got on the board. He's supporting after he's gone from the board. So we really appreciate that. And then we got a 6-figure gift from Western Express. Mr. Isabel called me and said, we need you to stop and meet with them. When I found out the amount of the gift, I said, well, certainly. I just literally hang up talking to someone on the phone and just go and speak with them. They came by and talked to us and said they want to fund some things for us. So we just appreciate the inroads we're making in the community now. So it's not over. It's still going on. I have 2 people to talk to this week about major funding. So we're very appreciative of where we are with our corporations and the corporate giving. I mentioned the Apple partnership. Apple, total investment Apple now is like $7 million for TSU. We received national recognition for the HPC Square expansion. We have 15 new HBCUs. There's 46 HBCUs now. That was the aim of the Apple partnership. They wanted to reach all 106 HBCUs. So right now we have 46 of the HBCUs, which is a real good place to be in, just to teach them how to code. Everybody can create, everyone can code. So that's that investment. And that is pretty much open-ended with Apple because we keep asking for more. They keep granting more. You have not because you ask not. So we ask for more and they keep giving us more. So we're continuing to ask. So we wind down, let's go to athletics. Athletics, I thought it was important enough to put this on a chart by itself because we're trying to elevate our sports programs. We're receiving some positive publicity for what we're doing in the sports arena. We received $2.5 million in private donor commitments for athletic facility enhancements. Those are not really included on the sheet. They're commitments, and so we followed up on those commitments. And through the partnership with the Nashville Predators, we're looking at the feasibility of a hockey program on campus. That really got us some national public news. Got a call from the former president of Spelman College, and she talked about her son she was a hockey mom. Her son was a hockey expert. So we've been talking about this hockey program, and then with so many alums wanted to bring back baseball. So we formed a committee to investigate bringing back baseball to camp. We know it's costly, so we have to figure out all the numbers have to be in order. Everything has to be in sync. Baseball to campus, and then adding soccer to the program. So that's where we're at with athletics. Thought you may want to know about where we were with that. We hosted several high-profile celebrity recruits. Mr. Terrence Izzard will call me any given day and say, we got this person coming to campus. So we have, of course, son of Hersey Miller, Master P's son, the 3-star national basketball recruit. Has already started. He's been here more than once to campus. Drew Williams, the 3-star national basketball recruit. Jamarcus Parker, the son of Flame Monroe. You may have been the comedian Flame Monroe, and he'll be here on Wednesday. We're meeting with him. Christian Brown, he's a transfer from Georgia. He's a former 4-star top 100 basketball recruit. And then Emmanuel, I can never get the name wrong, Duana, transferred from Purdue. He's also a former top 100 basketball recruit. So we've had some positive public stories in there. And I want to thank Ms. Sharp and her team because we have some very positive news stories. One, hiring a new teacher football coach was major. People were calling. I got a call from Doug Williams. I mean, people just kept calling about that. And the conversation now is the Tennessee State-Jackson State football game. It's almost as if it's not the team. They want to see the two coaches. And so I said, don't forget it's a football game among students who are playing. So then we're offering the coding courses to students in Africa. That was one of the big positive stories we had. And then, of course, the hockey team I mentioned, the Meharry partnership, the Levi Watkins scholars. That's so positive. We did a press conference on that with the Levi Watkins being a TSU grad, president of SJ when he was here. And so we want to increase the number of HBCU graduates entering the medical profession. It's a medical school and dental school. And TSU was named instrumental leader by Fulbright. Dr. John McLatter and the Department of Political Science was named a Fulbright Scholar. So we really celebrate that. So there's another story. We're on the front lines of COVID-19 pandemic, the TSU alumni. So we really appreciate the role our alumni played in that. Then we did some things on food insecurity. So we wanted to lead universities that have built the local food systems to address the food security. Because of the population explosion, food security is one of the greatest problems of our time. So we're here to address that. And then we talked about just the funds owed to us by the land grant situation. So that's where we are with that. So having said that, last chart is the land grant funds that's owed to TSU. I just want to update you on that. The Tennessee legislature formed the Joint Land Grant Institutions Funding Study Committee that was chaired by Representative Harold Love. And that committee, the purpose was just look at the inequities of the prior years in funding, to study that for us, the federal and state funding for land grant institutions in Tennessee for both Tennessee State University and look at the University of Tennessee. The purpose also is to look at the impact that the funding had as it relates to maintaining the operations of TSU and UT. So TSU presented, I testified January 11th of this year, and then participated again on June 3rd. I did not have to testify on June 3rd, but I was present just in case they had questions they wanted to ask. So we discussed the benefits the land grant funders had on TSU and the impact of the shortages, the lack of the funding, that impact on TSU. So they came up with some numbers that TSU is owed. The state budget office came up with Tennessee State TSU being owed between 150 and 544 million. That's the number that they came up with, not me. They came up with that number. And so we're looking at now, the objective is to determine the amount that's really we're going to get, the TSU would get from this. We got a number that's owed, so what can we get from it? So the committee charged TSU, THAC, and the Commission of Finance to identify the needs that's related to the funding arrears. That's a step in this process. We're doing it step by step, and Representative Love has been just amazing. It's been outstanding. So we're working with them because we know that something is owed to TSU, and we're going to continue to fight for what's owed to TSU. So that's where we are with that now. We're in the committee phase now. The three of us are going to meet this week to see where we are with this and how far can we go with, and how much money can we get from it. So that's where we are. Let me summarize what we said today. We said the enrollment is up, both for grad and undergrads. The endowments in reserve are all-time high. And then TSU is number one in terms of endowment per student. The research funding, the highest we ever had, over 70 million. We expect to receive between 150 million and 540, well, we're owed 150 million between 544 million. Then we got a new health science building, 2 new residence halls. We hired NFL star as our head coach. We added several star players on the team. We did some considerations for hockey, soccer, and baseball. 4% raise to employees, 6 new programs and academic offerings, 26 faculty members promoted and or tenured. SAS accreditations on TAC is right on track. All the audit findings have been successfully addressed, and TSU, TAC, and the Commission of Finance will identify the TSU's needs related to these funding arrears and determine the amount of arrears owed to TSU. So that's where we are. So I want to tell you that I am so happy to present this to you today because I'm reminded again and again that we're just in an extraordinary place here. We have a gifted and academic community. We have competent and devoted staff, and you are the source of our tremendous vitality and our excellence. You are, as faculty, staff, administrators. So this school term, we will have the privilege of greeting 1,600 new first-time freshmen across the university, both domestically and internationally. And they'll be joined by 4,500 more undergraduates. Almost 2,000 students begin their programs of graduate and professional study. So I want to thank our deans, our department chairs, the faculty for recruiting such exceptional and scholarly faculty to our campus, because TSU can only remain as strong as its faculty. Our faculty are erasing boundaries on the map of knowledge. And as you saw, in the area of incredible research, we hit a milestone in research and grants for over $70 million. That's a record. So I thank you for the research and scholarly accomplishment. We thank the staff for providing excellent support to the faculty. So we have both internal and external challenges, internal and external enemies. I know we face a challenge on the entire higher education landscape. TSU is not immune from that. But we're not defined by our bad days. We're defined by how we lead, how we strategize through this. We're defined by how we came back from our bad days. That's how we're defined, because you can never count us out. In fact, whoever thought they could count us out just can't count. And because of what I have seen here at TSU, because of all of you, I am confident that we can succeed in advancing our university to the next level of excellence. I'm stressing togetherness. I'm stressing one TSU. Togetherness sustains us. The opposite of being together is being separate. The opposite of unity is division. That's not who we are. We are one TSU. Just in the scriptures when it says there's one body, one spirit at TSU. There's one community, one vision, one purpose, and that is to ensure that our students receive the best, become the best, and are the best. We'll strengthen our academic rigor, and we'll ensure that our students are progressing. We'll remain accountable and transparent. We must do it right. We must do it correctly. We must do it right the first time. So as I close, I'm reminded of a song that says, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on, you may know the rest. Well, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on TSU, with my mind stayed on our great institution, making TSU better, making TSU healthier, making TSU stronger, making TSU extraordinary, making TSU miraculous. We were created to succeed, destined to win, equipped to overcome, anointed to prosper, and blessed to be a blessing. That's who we are. That's where we're headed. This train has left the station. This plane has taken off. We're headed for greatness, for greater distinction. So let's keep going. Let's keep on keeping on. And I'm so proud to be your president. As we travel this road together, we're going great places together. So let's go. Let's go there. God bless each of you. And God bless the great Tennessee State University. Thank you. Right.
We will take a 15-minute break. Now is it on? We will take a 15-minute break and we will resume here for questions. So, ready to join us on all your process of questions.